What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? Matty P, Marky D here, back with another episode of Steelers Touchdown Under. How you doing, mates?
Mate, down on today is really warm. As you know, it's going to be like 100 degrees today. It's super hot. So you know what? Yesterday stunk. It's bad. Not really in the argument mood now. I don't really want to argue anyway. But yeah, we suck, dude. We're not a good team, and that falls on everybody. And we'll go through all the things from the coaching to the players. It falls on everyone. And yeah, it's just really hot. It's even hot to talk. So why we talk fast.
It is, man. I took the dog for a walk, and it was a stinker, man. It was a absolute stinker. Before we get into the nitty gritty of like everything going on with this team, Jet Devil in the chat,
Take of the day.
Devil. I joined your live stream for a little bit yesterday, and I jumped out when I jumped out before Christian Kuntz's penalty. I haven't had a chance to go back and like find where that happened in your stream because you know you live stream the games. It's 3 or 4 hours. But like, what was your face like when he got called for like that? Was I mean, I don't even know where to begin.
That happens all the time. They lift their head up most times, and they've called it a false start. I've never seen that. I think even one of the analysts said they'd never seen that penalty being called on. How many teams penalties have we had on the punting group that's lined off of the center for the field goal or whatever, or above that, which they showed that wasn't happening, and that penalty as well to Christian 46, where he snapped his head up. Apparently, I think he's either said a word or a motion and done that motion to instigate a false start. I've never seen that happen. He looks up and then he snap it. That's the protocol that I've seen snapping the football. And the other guy jumped offside, so then it was our fault for instigating the false start. That was insane.
I just don't know where to begin with that. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand some of the penalties that this team's had against it. Like, I don't get how.
The context of the game. Why are you calling that? Why are you calling that in the spirit of the game? You don't call that.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of like Tomlin's kind of almost like Tomlin's pissed a referee off somewhere or something.
Maybe.
Because the same with the whole guard penalty. Was that against Sam Arlo on the line 3 weeks ago, or whatever it was? Like,
that was.
I just think there's some very odd things going on right now, man.
Yeah, field goal attempt, and Chris Bozzi got it, and then there was a 5 minute penalty. Then they went for it again, which they probably shouldn't have, and he missed it. Yeah, somebody lined off in front of the football, which didn't make the case because you do the line. I think it was Siamalo, and that was a penalty. So that's crazy,
yeah.
It's not in the spirit of the game. Like, why are you calling that in those situations? There are only times I think of those things you think, well, maybe Tomlin's pissed off Roger Goodell and he's said, trying to control the game because the game is controlled by the refs. So that's what it looks like. I don't know if in that sense we would have got a first down, right? Would have had more time to go down the field. That's right, And yeah, he stubbed his head up or did a football, maybe entice the guy, but that shouldn't be labeled as a false start. I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't see this stuff in other games.
Yeah, no, you don't, do you? It's always
what I mean. Like, I don't get like. I'm genuinely lost for words about it because it's so odd. Like,
well, it's almost like they knew they jumped over, so they had to flag someone, so they flagged us for that scenario. That's what it feels like. Because sometimes they throw the flag, and then you'll see, well, hang on a minute, who they talk about it and they go, okay, let's fine 46 as he did that.
Yeah,
maybe there's an intention. The intentional flag was there because they jumped offside. You had to flag someone because of that they jumped offside. Now, in the scenario, while they're giving Steelers a chance for another first down, maybe the refs were controlling the game. And I'm not saying everything is controlled, but maybe they just didn't want the Steelers. I don't know. Something's odd about it. Like, you can call me a conspiracy theorist all you want to. That's crazy. If you don't think that was odd or that's not questionable, then I think you're crazy. Because you can't say that was
100.
That was like factual or that had to happen. No, it was odd. It was like you flagged 46 for doing what? That and then hunting the ball? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm just like, That's it. The refs come together and flip a coin who gets the flag. That's it. Like I think, yeah. As I said, lost words. Let's just get straight into it with the We'll talk about Tomlin a little bit, but let's talk about the whole concept of a wasted season. The Steelers had a chance to be 9-4. The Steelers had a chance a couple of weeks back to really challenge for the 1 seed in the AFC. And look, I don't think I'm not going to sit there and say they would have finished with the AFC 1 seed. Like they were shot at it. I would say a 5 to 10% chance when they were playing well, even if they had 13, 14 wins. This team, we've seen enough close games. It's not like they're blowing guys out of the park, 30 zip, right? But you feel confident going into the playoffs in some capacity. Hey, Steeler Girl 808. So you look at it from that perspective, right? But then, they're at 7-6 right now. I hear a lot of chat about the wasted season. Do you think it's a wasted season?
It does feel like that because I want to put on, you might agree with this point too. I think the fact that we didn't see too much from Kenny Pickett and we had maybe some good chances, winning games here and there, but now he's injured. So coming to next year, you don't know what you've seen from Kenny Pickett because they held him to Matt Canada too long. Now that he's injured, I'm still a believer of Kenny Pickett. So now next year's going to feel pretty much like 2023 again because you have to find out who your guy is, build the O-line again. I think you have to get these receivers in check. I think Pickens and Deontay, as much as I support them and like them, they are being a little bit of crybabies over little things. And that comes down from the coaching. And you know what? People will always label one thing. It comes down to the whole organization and different little parts in a mini mind map. You got to go, this guy's doing this, and that's what it is, right? But yeah, it does feel like a wasted season because we thought they had a chance to go to the playoffs with these 2 wins. Now they have limited chance with Trubisky back there. Tomlin too stubborn. He won't move from Trubisky to Rudolph. And I want to see.
I don't know. I kind of wonder whether that's going to happen.
You reckon this week?
Well, what has he got to lose?
Nothing.
I would have thought if they won last night, even if it was bad and Trubisky threw 3 interceptions and the defense won them the game like the first Cleveland game, they would start Trubisky because they got the win. But because he didn't get that win, and it's not even like there's a week, there's 10 days, right? If Trubisky's not lighting it up in practice, talking about practice, I wonder. I hope. It's more I hope. And I want to. The other thing I was going to say is you talk about Pickens and Deontay. Pickens I can understand because he's young and he's open on stuff. One of the passes he caught was a one arm over the middle because it was so poorly timed.
Yeah.
He's a freak and he's a young guy. He's allowed to get a bit frustrated. Deontay, I'm done. I am done with Deontay. I'm not saying he's a bad guy or a good guy. I'm done. Okorafor and Cole, piss him off, right? You're going to absorb, I think it's roughly about it's about 12 million from them, but you save over 25 million on your salary cap. You can replace those 3 guys and you can get better at that position for much cheaper at that. Trade them if you can. Get your draft picks. Maybe keep Cole and he's your backup and he's a great backup, but he ain't the starting center and he shouldn't get paid starting center the money that he's on next year of 5 and a bit million. So I'm done now with.
I got a question for you to go off that. Do you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are done? Then they know they have to keep him right now because they can't trade him at this point, nor can they cut him this season? You think that in the off season they're fed up with his antics as well?
I think they are. I think there'll be a serious discussion with him if he wants to be there or not. I think up until this year, it's like a Okorafor. Up until the year rolls over, the dead cap hit is actually quite high, right? So it's this next year of both of their Okorafor, those contracts, which goes back to Khan. Khan built that into Okorafor's contract and technically into Deontay's as well, which is why Deontay deal, I wanted him for an average of 16 million. He was averaging, I think it's 18.3. It's in the 18s. But what I did like from it was the guaranteed money was less than what I thought it was going to be. So that was helpful. That means that basically he's about a 15.3, I think it is, $1 million cap hit next year. But the Steelers will eat 5.8 million off the top of my head of that. It's in that 5. It's in exactly that range. And then, it'll cost a team $10 million. Deontay for $10 million, if he's the second or third wide receiver, and I said that on a show a couple of weeks ago, that's pretty good on a team that's a contender, and you keep Deontay happy like that. Yeah, man. He'd do wonders with the Bills, for example. Him with Diggs there, he'd do really well in that environment, right? San Francisco, if they could go out and get him to have Ayuk, Debo, and him with Kittle, that'd be a great. I think the Raiders should go out and get him. That could help them with whoever they've got back there. Pair him with Devontae Adams. They can get rid of Hunter Renfrow. There's heaps of teams I could go through, right? But I don't just want to get rid of him because I think he's expensive or I don't like the attitude. I don't want him ruining Pickens, right?
True.
It's funny, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because I had the show a couple of days ago on the channel where I talked about the importance of fixing the O-line first. I would say to the Chargers, who need to get younger, and I mean, with Herbert, he'd be great. I would trade him for Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen wants a Super Bowl. But the Chargers
Pickens or DJ?
DJ. I'd move DJ on for Keenan Allen. I mean, not just because he's one of my favorite wide receivers ever. I love Keenan Allen. But you need to bring someone here for the next couple of years that's mature, that's going to foster Pickens, foster Austin, foster whether it's Marvin Harrison, who Daredevil mentions, or many of the other wide receivers in this draft and the next draft after that. You need a veteran guy there that can get open for Kenny Pickett that's still at the fairly top end wide receiver. That will help if they don't make the changes they need to make on the O-line, because I'm not fully confident that they are going to move on Colin and Okorafor. I want them to, but let's see. So, and Dan Moore is a depth piece at best. But so there's that bit. But then moving back to what we were saying before about Pickett, I think you're right. I know Shannon was talking about it with me as well. We don't know what Pickett is going to be any more than we did at the start of this year. And this is where it is on. It's not enough on Tomlin to fire Tomlin, but it's on. We all said if this doesn't fire in the first 4 or 5 weeks, it's a big mistake bringing back Matt Canada.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we are, and it's very clear that Faulkner and Sullivan. That's a stopgap solution. Well, I feel bad saying the word solution. Right? There is going to be a new offensive unit.
You'd think so, and if there's not, we're going to lose our minds. Because they're going to if they promote Faulkner to OC, we'll lose our minds. If it's
I'll tell you this. Do you want to know a good measure? I might clip this too because it'll be fun to see what people do with it. You know, a good measure for the fact that this organization knows they're not doing well. I have never had, as a Steelers fan, so many, and I know that it's a tough economic environment out there for people as well with inflation and all the rest of it. I have never had so many emails, and I also think gear's overpriced these days. I've never had so many emails from the Steelers shop about discounts and gifts and sales promotions. Do you know what I mean? It tells me something as a sports fan who's in their 30s, who follows a number of different teams. Sports gear, particularly if it's produced by Nike, never drops in price very much. But when teams are struggling on the field, and they're not getting ticket sales. And I know there was still 60,000+ in there and all the rest of it. But when people are happy, they're buying jerseys, they're feeling part of it. Christmas presents. I'd love to know. I'd love if someone did a survey in Pittsburgh or amongst Steeler Nation about how many people have bought jerseys for people for Christmas. I reckon it's one of the smallest it has been in 20 years.
Is that maybe a reason why that they don't go and bench Kenny Pickett? They want Kenny Pickett to succeed because if he does, then jersey sales go up. Because I think there's a relation there to the player.
I haven't thought about that.
Well, if you go and bench Kenny Pickett, then you can't buy his jersey, right? So it comes down to business and money as well. So I think as well, to your point, what you're saying is when they're doing well, they're succeeding, they're getting money and coin. At the same time, if they bench Kenny Pickett, right, and maybe they know he's not the best quarterback, but if he does well, then they'll sell jerseys.
Well, so here's a question, and there's a show coming out that I did with Shannon. So I did the pregame show with Shannon for everyone out there listening to this, and there's another show coming out for your weekend that he and I did an encore episode that was based, regardless of what the Steelers won or lost, what's going wrong, what needs fixing. And we talked about a little bit about this with Pickett and him having to be stuck in this Canada mindset. I kind of feel like he's it's a bit like in a sport like golf. We would say the same thing in cricket with a batsman. It's kind of like with the Steel. Like, I understand keeping him on, even if he was throwing some interceptions, to see if he could like play his way out of the problem and play his way out of the Canada mindset. Now, the problem is that he gets injured 1.5 games into the post-Canada situation, right? Now, it wasn't going to be completely different, but at least he could have a bit of a say in it and what happens from there. But I stick by what I said earlier on in the week, which RB lambasted me for in the comments as per usual. Like, you can't expect better until the line is better. The line is terrible. But the line played actually in a lot of ways last night. It wasn't terrible. Like, Trubisky had time to throw back there, and he did nothing with it. Like, he hangs on to the ball
dude.
and does absolute. Like, if Mason had that amount of time to throw, mate, he's going to throw 4 or 5 deep balls on all of those plays that I saw where Trubisky's hanging back there. And if one of them sticks, it's probably a touchdown. One of them. We lost by 3 points.
What were your thoughts on that that interception we had with, because they had a delayed blitz and then Jalen Warren was the only guy blocking, and then 2 blokes, I think James Daniels, they didn't move their protection to the right-hand side. Then Trubisky felt the pressure and he threw a wobbly pass into 3 people, and the safety picked it off like it was Minka. I don't know what safety it was, but he picked it off.
How can you not throw it out?
He threw it right to the safety's hands. Muth was nowhere near it. It was a pick. Right, that was pretty bad. Also, but they don't change protections, nor does Kenny Pickett. They don't seem to change the protections or see the blitz is coming, and Trubisky holds the ball way too long. And yeah, the offensive line, I think, is week to week. Like, one week they go well on the run game, the next week they can't do pass pro, and they're putting pressure on.
The run game was non-existent last night. That's the thing on coaching that shits me, because Belichick was always going to stop the run. His defenses always stopped the run. You knew that was going to happen, right? And I don't think they took it seriously enough. I thought they honestly thought, because they'd done so well in all these weeks, that they could, like, they've run the, I think they've had something like, is it up until last night, it was like 1,000 yards or something since the bye, or something ridiculous like that. Definitely in the 700 or 800s. And I just thought to myself, like, all Belichick had to do was take the run game away. Shannon said it to me, like, in the pregame and after that. He goes, Belichick will take the run game away and force Trubisky to make dumb passes. But you talk about an interception. Trubisky being conservative. He could have thrown 4 interceptions last night.
Well, there's one there near DJ, near the guy's hands, to the out route on the ball.
There was even the one on the penalty. It was a penalty for the pass interference. But I look at the positioning of that. I reckon he would have gotten an interception regardless. I reckon he had him. Yeah. I reckon he knew exactly what was happening with Pickens.
It's almost like he's trying to force it, because the one on the outside, his ball, they talk about Kenny's ball placement or power. Trubisky's worse. Like,
if Kenny Pickett had played last night, we wouldn't have lost the game. I'm telling you that.
At least have a better chance to win, I think.
Correct. Hooly dooly, Sean. Yeah, hooly dooly.
Hey, Sean. You know what?
Some therapy. Sean, you ask us a question or tell us how you feel. Like therapy, that's what part of therapy is, man.
You know what I find funny too is there was a certain player that I just saw Trubisky just run out and look around, didn't throw the ball, and then he starts running. He had a lot of runs. He had 8 runs. Kenny Pickett doesn't run 8 times, because you know why Trubisky runs? Because he can't pass. He can't pass. Like, it's really bad. And I understand, because every time we talk bad about Trubisky, it always goes back to, well, Coach Tomlin's the coach. Yeah, he's putting it in there to try and give him a chance. But Coach Tomlin, I don't think he will make a change, because he doesn't want to maybe admit defeat.
Do you know the other reason why he can't make a change?
It'd be his last quarterback.
He needs it to get worse before he can make the change, because once he makes the change, he can't go from Rudolph.
That's what I'm saying. You can't go back. You can't go back from this guy, and then, because it looks really bad as a coach, right? Going to your third guy, then going back to what's he? I think that Coach T was giving Trubisky, and you should. He's been playing 7 friggin' years, dude. 7 years, number 2. Like, he should be a veteran quarterback by now. He does the same thing.
The guy's the third highest paid quarterback in the backup quarterback in the league.
It's terrible. I try really hard.
What is that, man? Like, what is that? Like, I try.
He looks awful back there. He looks worse. People give.
And do you know the thing that I find really hard? He seems like a really nice guy. He's been really good with Pickett by all accounts. He looks like he's mates with Pickett. I follow the guy on social media. He and his wife have a really young family. He looks like he's a great, like he actually looks like he's a great. I am sure if most of us sat in a bar with Trubisky, we think he's the nicest guy to ever. He just seems that way. But he's also so deluded. Like when he says things like, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm like, no, you won't. I don't want you to be aggressive because you're going to throw an interception. Number two, last night wasn't aggressive.
No. Some of the footballs being thrown were about 10 yards over the player.
Respectfully, last night was the equivalent to, how do I say this without being completely rude? He needed some passing Viagra last night. Like it was limp. Like last night was limp.
And that's what I mean. How are you a professional quarterback in this league where Kenny Pickett's still developing, still getting time, still learning the offense, right? And I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett's perfect. No, he's had a pretty bad season too. But Trubisky being the backup, dude, you got to go out there and win some games. Got to go and play football. He had a chance last night to restart his career being 29 years of age. Now his career's probably done and dusted, I reckon.
Yep.
Because he had, if we played well for the next 4 games and got to the playoffs and did all these things, yeah, dude, we could trade.
That's what I said. That's what I said when I appeared on Steel Nation Australia. And shout out to that. I said, this is it. His career is done.
Like you had a massive chance to go out there and play. And of course, they were running the football. So you know what you do? Try and do hot routes, develop things with your receivers. Well, Steelers haven't got that. Steelers have no communication on the line. They get the play, they do it. Doesn't matter what the defense shows us, they just go with it.
Sean says the big question I have is we got rid of Canner and came out and played hard and won. Then we dropped our luggage at the front door. Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, Trubisky's 1.5 games of that responsible for that. Like that's the other thing I was saying to Shannon when we were recording both of those shows. I've heard all this talk this week. Kenny Pickett's not it because he got injured. Kenny Pickett dove to the line because nothing else is going on offense. How do you look? Are you serious? Like,
if he scores a TD, it's a different mindset. So we love Kenny because he's so brave. If he scores a TD, it's a different narrative. 100%.
Like I keep hearing all this about the tush push. Don't me wrong. I think Jalen Hurts is a fantastic quarterback. I was very interested in him with the Steelers, right? I was worried about the hype of him coming out, but I thought he was a really, really great player, right? Yeah. But the tush push is successful because of everyone else around him, not necessarily him. Like you and I can get there with the ball and be tush pushed. Yeah,
you can put me at the ball and I can see him out.
It doesn't matter, right? If you're a certain size bloke, you and I are both like 6'1" and a bit. Like I'm about 190, over 200 pound or whatever it is, right? Like work out and stuff. Like you tush push me, like I'll be fine. Like. So I don't understand. But when Kenny dives for the line and he happens to get injured because he's just being a baller and going out there and playing, he's too injury prone. Like concussions. If we were 20 years ago, some of these he wouldn't have even like gone off the field.
No, he'd
like,
still be playing.
Them. Like it's the narrative is always like the narrative is if someone doesn't like you and you get injured, you're injury prone. But if they like you for whatever reason, you're so tough. Like, he's not big enough. I just, what is this, man?
If he scores a TD, the narrative is different. He put his life on the line to get a TD because he missed a TD and he should have made the route to Calvin Austin, even though at the same time, I can't even imagine being a quarterback, how crazy it would be in that scenario to go, what, this all around everywhere. He ran for it, he tried, he got injured. That's it. But now this is where the Steelers go from here, and this ties back to Kenny Pickett. We don't know because we can't see him for the next 5 games. So now we have to wait for a new offseason.
But I also don't want to. It'll be a wasted year again, and Daredevil brings it up if there's not a new center. You can't have
Colt, mate. 3 or 4 times was a low snap again. He has to be gone. Like he's the one I think you want to fire anyone, you fire Cole. You know what I mean?
Mate, lump of coal. Like it's a lump of coal for him. That's what I call him now. I call him lump of coal.
I had a good thought about that. Everyone talks about saying firing Tomlin, right? What about the players and actually their skill set? He's doing the best that he can. I know that he went and got those players, right? But he had some faith in doing so. You can't just fire the coach or being the owner of the business. It's still how the business works. Cole last night was doing plays that were terrible. Trubisky's your backup center who's awful, right? Najee was running slow last night, but at the same time, the personnel and the scheme running into the defense was bad. So it's not just on one coach; it's on every single person. So, the only guy I think can play was Warren. Warren played some good football last night.
Well, Landon Roberts played some terrific football.
He did
so
too.
So did Pierre-Paul club man, Minka.
Minka. Did you hear Minka's comments?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I like
But
it.
I'll go back to Cole. I said this again. It's in one of the shows I did with Shannon because we spoke for about an hour and a half and clipped it into two. I've clipped it into two shows. But one, and I've talked about it on this show maybe in the off season on this channel. The thing that the Bills did different to make Allen successful was they got rid of their center. I think it was Matt Paredes that they got rid of, or it was who's the other guy? Anyway, there was another guy. They brought in Mitch Morse because they said, and it's documented. You can go out and find the articles about it. They said back then, and remember, Allen and Pickett have had all the comparisons to each other as well. Obviously, Allen's like a bit more toward Big Ben and sort of the size and mobility. But it was talked about the fact that the Bills sat there and said, if this quarterback is going to be successful, he needs a good center, a good experienced center that's going to snap the ball properly, protect, and make life easier for him. That does not happen with Kenny Pickett because of Mason Cole. One person. We got rid of Kendrick Green, and we still have Mason Cole snapping the ball. I think Jeff Hartman said that with Steel Curtain Network recently, and I completely agree. They have to fix it. And the only issue is that, like, there's not a ton of great centers available in free agency necessarily this year, and particularly unless we're going to move some salary cap. So we're probably going to have to draft a guy. Now, the thankful thing is, and we'll be unpacking on this channel because obviously with Shannon now joining the channel for Steelers Global Perspective, there's a guy out of West Virginia who's meant to be Creed Humphrey II, and that's really good for the Steelers, right? But like, they've still got to bring that guy in. They've still got to coach him. They've still got to make sure that guy's the right guy. But you can't just get rid of Canada because the one thing's consistent is the balls along the floor. It's freaking mully grubbers, as you know, you and I know
they're terrible. They're awful, mate. Like 4 times yesterday, even Kenny's game, it got him sacked. Like, and then Trubisky came in. It was just awful snaps.
Spencer Anderson, they need to send Spencer Anderson. That if he does anything in the offseason, it's just like lift weights, watch less tape, just snap the football. We just need Spencer Anderson snapping the football.
But when you and I notice it, and other fans notice it, you're like, that's a problem. It's a huge problem because they're that low. And then Trubisky with the previous game, because we didn't speak with the Cardinals, two losses in a row. That football was going right to the ground. He fumbled and he didn't even fall on it, but still, it's
so. This was interesting too. I said this to Shannon or did I say it to you? I said to Shannon in Slack, or I said it to you when I jumped on Steeler Nation Australia. Mitch Trubisky took a lot of balls right from the center under center last night. Like there was not a lot of like snapping the football compared to what there usually is, and I find that very interesting. I'm not lost for how. I said 3 things going to the trade deadline and the month in the trade deadline. They needed a strong safety. They're missing a proper strong safety. I've said that all year. I said that was my big thing of every single couple of weeks, whether it was during the offseason and during the preseason, the week between the preseason and the start of the season, the week before the bye, the trade deadline, get a strong safety, get a strong safety, get a strong safety. They still don't have one. They're still getting beat by tight ends. There's a reason why. I said that they needed another center, and I said they needed a cornerback. Cornerback thing is very abundantly clear, but Pat P's at least playing better. And if you had a strong safety, a proper strong safety that's even better than Neal, who's on injured reserve as well right now, and I think we're forgetting that he's not out there. Kazi could play in the slot as slot corner. Things would get a little bit easier. But I said you needed to do something about the center position, and it's not like that Matty knows best all the time, but like I just... These things were glaring. And if a fan on the other side of the freaking world can see it, how can't you see it in that organization? And it's too late now. Like, it's not going to change because we are past the trade deadline. There's not that. If there's free agents out there, they're not going to bring. That's done. But, like, put it this way. If they have any plan for Spencer Anderson to be a center, I personally think on tape he looks like a fantastic right guard, but they've got James Daniels there. Like, I think he'll be I would just plug and play him at a guard tomorrow. But if they have any thought, and Shannon said to me he knows people from Maryland who said that he'd be a good center. And when we did the day 3 of the draft live for 7 hours straight, I said when he was drafted, I thought he was going to be a center, right? If they had any plans for him to be center, the Leishon Cole needs to be short too, because I want to see something from Anderson this year. Like, I want to know what that like, and that's where we say is it a lost season. Like the Pickett, we're not going to get the answer to that question. But I want to start getting answers to questions like, is Calvin Austin just a novelty Swiss Army knife and kick returner?
I haven't used him all year.
Or is he a weapon? I want to know, can Darnell catch the football
and fall forward,
or is he not? What's Connor Haywood? Like, we're all high on the Swiss Army, but is Connor Haywood actually something, or are we fans just rosy because he's Cam's brother? Like, I want to know. I think
when they use him, he's pretty physical and get over the line. That's for sure.
Even Herbig. I said it in a show this week about the amount Martinez, when I was seeing Martinez and Miles Jack, who offers more for the Steelers. But Herbig, we heard a little bit about, now obviously had to play last night with Highsmith out, and who knows what that neck injury looks like.
Yeah, true. Herbig's
right. But they've not used Herbig inside. Through the draft, we heard about this guy's an inside-outside guy, and then we said they only wanted to play him outside. Can they tell us fully he'll never play inside now? Is that what it is? Because with all these issues inside, why the heck has he not come into the mix to play inside? Now, maybe they're trying to keep it simple for him. I don't know. But, like, all I'm saying is there's young guys. We're 7-6. You've got nothing to lose by playing these young. Like, if they lose to the Colts, young guys the rest of the season. Young guys Bengals, young guys Seahawks, young guys Ravens. Like, I want to know who's good, who's not, because some of the older guys I know already. If I was the GM, you're out of here. Bye. See ya. Enjoy. Thanks for playing.
Well, even last night, they don't really work all year, actually. We were so excited for these tight ends in Frymouth and Darnell, and nothing comes out of it, right? They don't give the ball to Darnell. Hayward, I like his physicality, and I think he can be used, good in blocking and stuff like that. But to me, you just don't see big plays from Darnell. Like, the dude's 6'8", give him the ball. And it comes back to the quarterback play and O-line. It just does, and they don't scheme. And Austin, I think, is a mystery. Like, he's a fast guy, speedy. Where's the quick slants? Or I don't know. Like, do some Madden plays or something. Like,
don't get me wrong, Sean. I love Hayward as well. I'm just saying, like, I want to get some clear answers. I don't feel like we know much about anything really. Like, with a lot of these players,
we know they can give 21 points to the Patriots, and Bailey Zappi look like Tom Brady out there. It's on the defense too.
What's Jake Browning going to do to this team in a few weeks' time?
That's crazy.
And also, where's the respect? You asked me about 6-7 weeks ago. You said when they lost at home, you said, "Is there such thing as the Steelers as like a Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium fortress?" And I said, "No." Like, straight away, no.
There used to be, not anymore. Even Color Rush and then the Renegade has little effect to anything. It doesn't feel, our home field advantage is gone. Like, completely.
Yeah, we need an idiot sandwich intervention. I agree.
Yeah,
that's what when they all come in, everyone gets idiot sandwiches.
Well, I think this is obviously to do with its coaching, organization, all this kind of stuff, and maybe they do need a fresh start. So maybe I'm not saying fire Tomlin because that just sounds silly to me, but maybe next year after maybe bring in a new coach. I don't know. They need something different. Because it's been like this for 3 years, but the loss yesterday and how they were prepared to lose down 21 to 3 points. Trubisky ain't coming back. Like, that offense. I want to say
one thing, and look, I'm happy to be told I'm wrong on this because I feel maybe it's just something I feel. I don't think there's enough. All right, I love Cam Haywood, right? I do. Right, I got a Cam Haywood football behind me. When he retires, I'm going to get like one of the better jerseys for him. I love him in bits. But he needs to step up. And people are going to go, "Whoa, no, Cam steps up and he's come back from the injury." But I listen to the interviews. He goes through the motions. And I'm sure he doesn't go through the motions, in the Steelers or anything like it. But either let Minka be the leader of this team and the guy's playing with a broken hand, or, like, at least I did like from Cam, in fairness to Cam, now I feel bad for saying it. Last night he said we've all got to play better. We let 21 points on them. It's not good enough in the defense. But, like, I don't feel like they've got the leadership within the locker room from a player perspective to lead them out of this. Now, on defense, yes, but on offense, who are you listening to on offense? Who on that offensive unit deserves that respect? And it's not, Najee's actually not done enough to prove that, to be honest.
Well, the thing is, I think we keep coming back to this point. You hear these players say, "Oh, we're going to need to do better," but they've been saying it for 3 years.
Like, Dopey, I don't want to throw him under the bus. I want them to keep him, and I'm worried about how much his contract.
Yeah, I don't throw him under the bus. We're just saying I think he's been quiet. I agree with you. He's been quiet.
Who's grabbing the guys by the jerk? Like, but then in fairness to Cam Hayward too, I saw him on the bench with TJ Watt, and they both just look stuffed, man. They were both sitting back like, just like,
can't do it all. They can't do it all. You know, there was some play. Actually, to credit to what the Patriots did, they actually had some good football passes into the end zone to their tight end and their receivers too. That was some nice passes from Bailey Zappi, and they were doing very well. So credit to them.
Yeah, Derpy, tell us for you, what is the worst part about this loss? Because it's so important that we all get it out there. You know, like I think, tell us. I want to know. I want to share in it. And for me, I already feel bad. I said that about Cam Hayward, but that's what it is. It's a therapy session.
But I think you're right to a certain point, because I think he's been really quiet the last few weeks on this team. And I don't think he's made that big of an impact on the team. And how many times can he keep saying we need to do better? You know what I mean? Like, go out there and win a game, go and stop them. And but they did in the second half. They stopped no point second half, and the offense couldn't catch up. So it must be very tough.
That's what the hardest thing about this season too is, like, and this does go back to coaching and scheming, and it does affect a plan if you're a coach that's a plan manager. We have not seen all three phases of the football work. Like, the defense will have a great half, and then the offense will do nothing. Or the offense is trying to do something, and then the defense... Like, if you look at the San Francisco game, some of the offense was bad. Some of the offense was good in the first half. Like, that first half, the drive they had to score a TD before halftime. But the defense had such a poor go of it early on. They were already down by, like, 20 points. It didn't matter. Like that's the thing that I don't understand. I don't think I had seen one football game from this Steelers team this year where the defense and offense have both been firing the whole game together. No.
Maybe the Bengals game, because that was kind of different. Maybe. But that's still 16 points, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so either. But to even teams too. Teams was really bad last week with Killebrew. And now this week he got the punt block, and I didn't even care about the punt block. Did you hear? I want to point this out to our listeners here. This is so stupid. Anyone does this, you're an absolute fool. Did you hear he got death threats last week for his play on the field for Killebrew? Fans of Yinzer Nation,
so wrong.
The scumbag loser fans, not the guys in the chat, the scumbag fans out there were sending death threats to Killebrew because he played bad. I think that is piss poor and weak. You're a weak human, whoever they were.
Yeah, that's wrong.
He told Mike Tomlin reported about it. What are you doing? Fans, okay, we lost, we lose, you stink it up. Today, loss sucks, but I'm going out with lunch with my friends. Setting death threats to someone is an absolute joke. You know what I mean? It's terrible. Honestly, it's terrible. The guy's a good bloke. He's got now four punt blocks or 5 in his career. Yeah, he makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. You don't do that. You do not. No. That is. You are not even a human at that point.
I made joke after joke about Marcus Allen. Right?
It doesn't matter. You don't. Yeah, you don't.
I wouldn't say that. No,
it's absolutely BS. In the fan base, that's why it's not all. It's probably like 1% of the fan base who does that. Troll accounts and going after someone like that is just like, actually, it's probably criminal worthy, right? It's probably
yeah, definitely.
I'd say if they found that person through a certain maybe an IP address, they can get go to court or whatnot. Players don't want that. Players, look, it's not a good team right now. And culture, we've spoken about this for 3 years. It doesn't feel right now. They need someone to come into some more leadership. Like you said, not just one person like Cam or Minka. You need a variety of blokes. And yeah, people don't deserve that.
They just need a lot of fresh faces. I think there's too many guys that have been in this for too long, people talk about Tomlin and the message getting old. Maybe it's just the players aren't listening to it. Like Chris Carter talked to a guy from Amazon, with an analyst from Amazon, and they were talking about Mike Tomlin, and the guy said apparently to Chris Carter, like, hey, Mike Tomlin's really great and he's a really good player coach, but it's all about whether the message sinks in or not. And that's what I wonder. Maybe the message isn't sinking in as more. But I want to go back to what Derpy was saying. He said the worst part is that the Steelers have had a really easy schedule lately. And it is. They've faced two win teams at home. As you said, Monkey D, first time ever.
And a horseshoe.
over 500 has lost to a team that is more than 8 games under 500.
Ever.
And,
think about that. Ever. That's ever.
At home. They haven't had to travel across the country. They haven't had to travel into cold weather from warm weather or vice versa. It is literally like at home in Pittsburgh. I mean, I do think the schedule of the short turnaround comes into play and some of the injuries, but every team goes through that. And no team's done this before.
When did the NFL start? Like in 1920? Like that's honestly one of the craziest stats I've ever heard in my life. The first time ever in NFL history that was above 500 team, us being 7-5, have lost to a team that with 8 game difference being 2-10, 2-10. I've never heard that in my life ever.
Hey Toddy, well, thank you for tuning in to us. Yeah, I'm still mad too, man. I said to Mark off air, I went on to Madden and I got rid of everything. I simulated the season, gone to the off season. I'm getting rid of everyone. I'm yelling again. I'm starting again.
I've noticed that. I haven't listened to any podcasts with anyone else really beside the stuff I've made. So even this week, I might just chill too because there's so much negativity. I just can't handle it. We suck. We suck. We know it. And you move on. But there's a lot now of the Fire Tomlin stuff. But I hear what Toddy's saying. Like it's what are you meant to do? But the Steelers are not a good place right now.
Do you know what I would say? The good thing is, and obviously you guys listen to it in the US live right now on a Friday night. Some people might see a show in the next couple of days. We do have a show coming out Saturday or Sunday for you guys on that I did do with Shannon, which talks more about what needs to happen in the off season to fix this team, no matter what happened, in the Thursday night football game, which is more from a positive perspective. So it's not sitting there just slamming everything. It's like talking about real solutions, real changes in philosophy and mindset and all that sort of stuff. And similar to what Marky D and I have done, but kind of very different in a great way as well. So you get that nice diversity of content. But like the good thing, the only good silver lining in this is that it was Thursday night football. So you're all going to, after this show, you can chill out, you can have a drink, have your dinner, go on the weekend and go do something completely different away from Steelers.
Yeah,
I often wear Steelers. I've got a bunch of Steelers t-shirts. I try and wear a Steelers t-shirt every couple of days, like every second day. Sometimes I was every day. And I'm not going to wear any Steelers gear for the next couple of days. Not that I'm not proud of my team or anything like it. I'm just going to take myself away from it, and everyone's got to do that in their own mind. And that will help, hopefully. And hopefully the team as well. Hopefully 10 days is enough for this team to actually sit there and go, what the heck are we doing?
Well, they've been doing that all season. They have a really bad game, they win 2, and now they've had really good game, they lose 2. So the next 4 games are going to be crazy. But this is a funny comment from JJ52. The worst non-losing team ever.
Do you know what, though? I kind of think that 11-0 team was worse.
Yeah, we collapsed completely. This one can't get going. It's like it's there, they're not. Then they're not. So odd. It's very odd, man. It's crazy. But like you said, deal with it your own way. Like take some time off. Go to the pictures. They haven't even called the pictures anymore. The movies. I don't think about that. I don't know. Go and buy the pizza.
There's nothing out at the moment, though. That's the problem.
Like go and have some food and take away.
Try some stuff outside. Play with the dog. Yeah. Get Christmas. You guys have got the snow coming up. It's beautiful.
It's Christmas around the corner. Everyone's
get your lights up. It's
not that bad. It's just football at the end of the day. It does suck, but what do you do?
I mean, also, who have got? I'm also interested in this. We got a lot of the regulars here, the super fans, I call them. Who are some of the? I know some of your college teams. If you follow college, let me know your teams. Like, what bowl games are you guys watching as well? Because for me, I'm happy with Longhorns in college football playoff. I think Florida State got absolutely robbed. I think of making the college football playoff, so that kind of sucks. But there's going to be a lot of, and that's the other thing too. I wanted to wait till week 14, regardless of whether they were 14-0 or 13-0 or had a losing record. But we'll start looking at the draft prospects as well, because there's a lot of solutions that can happen there. So we'll start doing that over the next few weeks. That's kind of exciting. Like, there's a lot coming up. It's just, Mark, we launched this channel at the end of February this year, and we talked about how long an off season it is. And
long. It's like 6 months.
And I can't believe we're 14 weeks through the season.
Yeah, it's almost over. That's the tough part. That's why it sucks because we know our season might be done. That's the horrible part. And of course, what has really changed from those 14 weeks? We haven't learned too much, like you said. So,
As I mean, I feel like by the time we get to mid-season next year, I hope overall this team has like
new OC,
improved.
Kenny Pickett's back with a new line, that kind of stuff.
But even when I say improved, I don't necessarily need to see them 10-0 or 10-4 or whatever it is. I want to know that I have confidence that this team in the next 2 or 3 years is more of a contender than what they are today. That's what it is. It's not about a record. It's not about Kenny Pickett 30 TDs, 3 interceptions. It's not a stat line that'll tell me that. It's how we feel about this team. Because I don't think anyone can sit there and say they've felt great since 2018.
Not really.
Since that Jags loss, I've said it before, that Jags loss was a turning point for this franchise.
We don't score points anymore. They don't score points the way they used to. We haven't won by a game by 14 in ages. Like, it just doesn't happen. We were always down to the heartbreak games or every week, every single week. We never win 31-10. It doesn't happen. We can't score enough points, and Tomlin plays his cards to his chest really close, and that's how the way we play the game. Just the way it is. It's just
it says draft day. Was it day 1? Was it day 2 or was it day 3 with our 7-hour live stream?
Draft days.
We're gonna have to bring back the spin the wheel. Like,
I'm not like off season's fun, but I think football's funner. You know what I mean? I'm not ready to get the season over and done with yet. But Trubisky lays a duck egg. You know, you put blame on Tomlin for sure. I see that. Blame on everyone. The team is not talking together. The miscommunication. There was reports that, was it DJ and Minka fought last time, and now Minka's calling everyone out, which he should be. Like, the team is not a team right now. They're a bad football team in so many senses. So
they need to get there. They need to. Their homework needs to be binge watching like Friday Night Lights. They need to film rooms now. Got to be like remember the Titans once a day. Like, they need something to come together.
What are the odds, Daredevil? He's back. I'll make a bet with Daredevil.
What's this? Where is it?
He said the Make a Wish Kid stream was the best one for me.
Wow,
Daredevil. Wow.
Yeah,
that's my fault too.
Yeah, Sean says go Ducks. Yeah, they didn't do well against Washington, man. That was
good point from JJ52. Team is unfocused and immature, right?
But this is what I find annoying though, is like there's guys that are being immature. Like Deontay's too old to be immature about this. Like even Najee at times has said some stuff, and I'm like, well, I've been a bit surprised actually.
They're all speaking out to the media. They should be speaking to themselves. They should be speaking in-house, not out.
Yeah.
Not to us. We don't want to hear about how you weren't prepared.
Do you know what else besides an OC? If they don't have one, this Steelers team needs
DC.
Oh. Yeah, they definitely need a DC. And I've been talking about that forever. Yeah, I can't.
He's gone too. He has to be going. Austin, he's gone as well. Surely. He's got a new job anyway. He's gone for sure. This is next year.
He's going to college. He's going to take that college gig for sure.
Yep.
And then if I were Mike Tomlin, I'd be begging Flores to come back and work for him.
For DC?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the other point? I cut you off. What was the other point you're making?
I was going to say I think they need a proper sports psychologist in there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or if they've got one that does work with the team, fire them. Fire everyone.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we need a sports psychologist for being a fan. I think we need something too. Yesterday was ridiculous. I was from that almost Trubisky interception. I was like, no, it's over.
But think about this, right? So think about this. Not that I'm like a martyr or anything like it, but like for all of you guys, it's Thursday night football for you. I have a different sort of work than Mark does. So that's my Friday, where I should be in my normal sort of office work job. I took the day off, right? I took the day off work. Get up, do the pregame show with Shannon, right? And pre-record something for you guys for the weekend because there's no game on. And also I love talking with Shannon, and I think you guys love the content that we put out there. So there's that. Then get a few things together in the morning. I did actually end up doing a bit of my normal day job work because there was something that was something I needed to be doing. watch the game for 3 and a bit hours, watch the Steelers stink it up until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, basically, by the time you've listened to all the press conferences and done all that and got out a reaction video, all that. What a waste of a day off in some ways. Like, I don't feel good after my day off, you know?
No, all you did was watch a team be frustrated.
Well, I watch the team that I wake up for at 4 a.m. all the time. Just, I don't even my fan perspective, right? Like, it sucks.
Nothing really improved. Like, next week, we're like, okay, how can they get better? It's like, I'm not confident they're going to win that game. No, I'm not confident they're going to win any game, to be honest.
Well, Dayball, see, this is interesting, Jer. That's because Dayball might. I've heard a lot of Belichick to the Giants stuff. Maybe Dayball does become available. And Dayball's part of the Sean McDermott, William and Mary coaching tree. That's not a bad take, Jer. I like that.
I like Sean's take. Cancel the practice and tell them that you can't play. No hat, no play. No heart, no play. Sean down the bottom. Imagine that. Send a message. Like, go, oh, you're not coming in today. No facility for you. Go to the. Yeah.
Is that up above?
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, that's it. Yeah, go practice in the park. Not good enough.
Yeah, not in our house. You know, something like that would need to be happening, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's just that it's like they're trying to use. I know the people say they're trying to use old school Tomlin tactics, and it's not working, and maybe it isn't working.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You know what it is. You know how I feel. Like, far out. Just like,
yeah. That's what I'm kind of feeling like. We're gonna be following this team for what until we fall over, right? So it's only a little small.
Here's a good thing, right? So you know what I say about the college. I have a little savings fund that I build up for when the Steelers make the Super Bowl. I can pull the trigger and I'm there. I don't have to ever regret
this year,
right? Well, because because it's not going to happen this year. Like it's not. I'm thinking about pulling the trigger, and one of my best mates lives in Austin. He's an Aussie that's lived there for a decade. I'm thinking about pulling the trigger and going if the Longhorns make the college football playoff, pulling the trigger, going to Houston for the week, going and watching the game.
Yeah, do it.
I can only do that because of where the Steelers team is at right now.
Well, they're not,
and it actually sucks. It really hurts me because like I was so hopeful at the start of this year that we were a year or two away from really contending for it.
Well, here's the question.
And now I feel like we're 3 or 4 years away from that. That's what hurts.
What's changed in that Bengals game to the last 2 games that we were playing better football and now this? What's really changed?
But even the Bengals, I was happy with the yards, but I was very concerned about the points. Like,
yeah, no red zone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's changed is no Pickett. Let's be real, no Pickett. Mm-hmm. So everyone out there, I'm not like, you know, there's people that really hate Pickett out there that comment on every video we do about how much they hate Pickett, right? Trubisky's not it, regardless of what Pickett is or isn't. Where's Pat Freiermuth? I said this to Shannon on the pregame thing. Where's Pat Freiermuth? Now, Belichick was always going to try and take Pat Freiermuth out of the game. He's too smart a schemer for that. He's been doing this thing for 50 years. But like, where was Freiermuth properly against the Cardinals? Like, it just didn't happen. But I do agree with Inglorious Bot, sorry. Like, the scheme is just... I mean, we were talking about that on the show. And I say this all the time. I said it in the Shannon show yesterday. I've said it before. Margaret and I have talked about it. There's the photo at the start of the season that came up where you've got Calvin Austin at 5'5" and 170 pounds, 4.240 yard time. Mm-hmm. And Darnell Washington at 6'7" and about 280 to 290 pounds. You've got the absolute opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of, physical traits. You should be able to out-scheme any defense in this league. Now, you might not be able to outplay them, like they might have a good defense, but you should be able to do things with the scheme that at least put the opposition defense on the back foot. When have the opposition defense been on the back foot?
Not really.
For a full game. They haven't. Yeah. They haven't. And that's what I find. And then you've got Pickens, who's like a 6'2", 6'3", 200-pound alien. You've got Deontay that's got one of the best releases and route running in the league when he wants to. when he's on the same page as his quarterback. Right now, he's running whatever route he feels like. I don't understand. And then you've got a guy like Freiermuth that's literally is a top 5 tight end if you used him properly. Like I said it yesterday with Shannon in one of the shows. I said it with you on the live stream as well. If I'm Pat Freiermuth, why am I going to re-sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Unless they offer me like an extra 10% to anyone else, why would I re-sign with the Steelers? I don't get the ball. The team doesn't win. I'm not a factor in it. Why would I stay? And that sucks because this is a guy that should be a Steeler for life.
You need some promise from an OC or some promise from a direction that's going the right way. And it doesn't. They just haven't used the tight ends all year like that, and it just hasn't happened. But even like the play calling situations was like, why are you allowing Connor Hayward to throw a football, into the end zone? Like, why not you're 2 yards out? Why not just try and run the ball in? In variety of ways, pull the guard or pull someone, or just get something moving. And then also we didn't talk about the fourth and 2. Right, a 4th and 2 situation, you throw the ball deep twice, and that was apparently Mike Tomlin.
But even that play's a dumb play. So the dumb play from Hayward to Washington. No, let Washington, where no one can touch his arm, give it to Hayward.
Yeah.
Well, but he didn't even hype on it. But that's what I mean. But if you swap them and Darnell Washington's no one can defend that pass because he's 6'7". By the time he puts his arm up, he's like 10 feet, right?
Yeah.
If it works, it's brilliant, but it didn't work. It's just not like,
what are your thoughts about the 4th and 2, throwing it twice in a row? I thought that was stupid. But that came from Tomlin too, apparently. I thought it was really bad. You got to run the ball. 3rd and 2, you got to run the ball, bro.
I know.
Run the ball.
I know.
He went deep, and then also, but maybe he went deep both times. It's like, why are you going deep both times? Hand the ball off to Warren or someone 4th and 2 times in a row.
Exactly, man. Hey, Jane. What's up? Well, Toddy says I've weathered it for 40 years, but that's it, man. But you shouldn't have to weather it with both teams.
Maybe we're just going for we haven't had a losing season since 2002, so maybe we're just going for a bad stretch. I don't know. Maybe it's meant to happen.
It's funny because I've got Arsenal who are following the Premier League. They're top of the Premier League right now. I got the Longhorns potentially making a college football championship playoff. I'm a casual. I say casual. I don't watch it as much, but I'm a Timberwolves fan. The Timberwolves are killing it in the NBA. I feel like I've had to trade the Steelers winning for my other teams playing well.
I don't know, man. It's just we're angry now, but it doesn't look. Honestly, I don't stay in the anger. It sucks, but I don't stay in the anger.
Yeah, exactly. You got to live your life. I wonder how much shit Meatball got from his brother for that part. Yeah.
It wasn't a good pass either. It was really not on. But if it works, it would have been genius, Would have been fantastic. I can't believe, I didn't even really worry about the pump block. I was that mad. I didn't even care about the pump block. That was fantastic.
Do you know, where's Anthony McFarlane Jr.? Like, the run game wasn't working yesterday.
They're not playing him.
I said to Shannon, give the guy 3 to 5 touches just to do something unconventional.
Well, not even put... Goodwin Iwabuke just runs out the kickoff return. That's his spot. That's all he does.
And he looks quick. Look, do a draw play with him. Do a screen play with him.
If I have any problem with the Steelers team, it's the personnel decisions and why they don't do things like that. Why aren't you playing those running backs? Or why aren't you using Calvin Austin better? Or why aren't you using Darnell?
But even like the wide receiver screens, what we saw, we've seen so much with the Steelers. Like, I mean, this O-line is one of the reasons. Like, I don't understand why you're not working Pickens and Austin into wide receiver screenplays. There's no such thing as an RPO.
Mm. Yeah,
you've got Warren, and you've got meant to have Mr. Agile Trubisky back there, and there's no such thing as an RPO.
Well, how many points do you reckon they're going to score versus the Colts? 10?
9.
It's tough. It's tough, isn't it? We try our best. I really tried to. I did a video the other day. I'm very hopeful for the Steelers. Now to do another one next week.
But the other thing too is, like, I don't want points unless you're going to score above 30 points and win 30-21 or something. I don't want points at the expense of interceptions because this team can't come back. One turnover, they lose. With Bisky,
Pickett often can't score points. It's so crazy.
You know, like he had it was at 190 yards at the end of the game. Like,
what did he have? Yeah, 22, 35, 195.4, 1 TD, 1 interception, 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Bad. Connor Hayward, 0 for 1.
You can't argue. Sean and Toddy are both saying it. We hear about living in our fears. They 100% live in their fears.
Yeah, they're very conservative, very safe play calling, very safe. Don't do this, but then it works with Kenny somehow, but it doesn't work with Trubisky, who's the veteran. So Kenny just can't stay healthy for him to have a chance. The Kenny's in the game on the Cardinals game. If he stays healthy, gets a TD, they're up by 10. They win that Cardinals game, and they win yesterday too. Or we did maybe think so.
It's
tough. It's tough.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. If you're not a sub, please sub to our channel. We always want to build it out. But yeah, I can't. You talk about those fourth downs. At least if you run it and you don't get it, you take time off the clock and you give it to, you're playing to what has been your strength recently, right? That's what I couldn't understand. But like same thing with like Pickens and Deontay. You got Deontay with one of the fastest releases, and you've got Pickens who has got these shifty feet that just always shock people. You saw that on the play that was pulled back for the interception from Jackson that was a hold. Then it's that this team doesn't. The good quarterbacks, and we have seen Pickett do it a little bit, which is why I think Pickett with the right OC can find it with a bit of consistency. Why aren't we trying to draw a pass interference? Ben used to be very good at that. Other quarterbacks in this league do it very well.
I reckon DJ went for one, but didn't go for the ball.
It's very hard to get the pass interference call if you don't go for the ball. You need to sell it to the refs.
No, but I reckon he was playing that route lazy when I went back and watched it. I didn't think it was that on the point with it, But to me, it's you going to pick it. You went the wrong guy. Go to Pickens, who's the high point guy, the catcher. In the past, wasn't that great? It's so far in front. You need 2 yards. You're throwing a 30-yard pass. It's like, bro, scheme.
The guy can't throw the football, man.
How many plays do you see in the NFL where they scheme up the pass to get the 4 or 5 yard pass? When it's crazy. The Steelers offense loves doing 5-yard passes, but when you need it, they go deep. But when it's first and 10 or second and 8, they don't go deep. You know what I mean? They don't go deep. It's crazy.
But this is why I think Mason Rudolph could. I'm saying he's like the Messiah, but he could be very helpful for it because, we all know about play action. But Mason Rudolph has a good deep ball. He just does. That's what it is. Like that's one of his strengths in the air raid offense. He has a strong deep ball. He has a pretty accurate deep ball. He's really good in down that medium passing. So between 10 and 20 yards, he's really good at that. That is what he is. I don't know but it's like what you and I said probably 40 minutes ago or so on the show. Like, unless you are going to, that's it. Like, once you make that change, you got to ride that out for the season unless he's injured. But the thing is, I'm like, why can't you make that change? Because we did that in the 2019 season with Devlin Duck Hodges, and then he wasn't it. So we brought back Mason, and then we had to get rid of Mason in the end as well. Well, we didn't get rid of him, but Mason broke his foot or collarbone, when he got stepped on. BJ Finney with the pants stepped on his foot, in the Jets game, right? So like, I don't understand why. Like, if it's bad, if the offense has done nothing in the first quarter and they've had 3 drives against the Colts, you gotta put in Mason. Because then it's a lost season. Then this team will finish 7-10, 100%. Like
I think a lot of fans just want to see Mason one more time to have all this.
At least we know. At least it's not wasted. Then we're like, we don't bring him back next year. Like, what's the point? You may as well have a 7th round.
He'd have to be better. He hasn't played in 2 years. Surely he's better. You think so? You think so?
Sure.
Maybe he's more accurate. Maybe he's more quicker to pass the ball, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you just don't know right now. And you're right. Maybe Trubisky struggles the first 2 throw the interception. Yeah, you bench him. Just straight up bench him the next minute. You give one more chance to Trubisky. I'd rather see Rudolph go on a run for 4 games than Trubisky go on a run for 4 games.
Because then at least as well, if Mason could prove, because he's good cheap, no one else is going to buy that guy. They didn't buy him this offseason.
He'd be a backup.
That's my point. Right? Then he's a cheap backup. Then he's a $1.5 million backup for the next 2 years while we figure it out with Pickett.
Get rid of Trubisky and save money or trade. I don't know. But a lot of teams will have, if he played well, a lot of teams will have him as quarterback number 1. That's a crazy part. You know that, right? Even if they put him in a new offense, they might put him at the 29 or 30-year-old quarterback. They might do it. A lot of teams will like him to be the quarterback. I know it's crazy to say, but they would because he can play, but maybe he needs a better system too. I don't know.
That is very true, Sean. That is very true, Sean. I have heard that, and he does. He's got the ball, man. That last game that Mason Rudolph, what was his stat line? Mason Rudolph versus the Browns. I want to pull that up. Mason Rudolph Browns 2021.
His last game?
Steelers versus Browns. That was a good game from him.
When we lost, right?
We lost with Baker Mayfield pulled like an absolute rabbit out of a hat.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty keen to see the stat now. His very last game, was it?
Yeah. Player stats.
Years.
Mason Rudolph. This is Mason Rudolph. 22 from 39, so about 55%. 315 yards, 2 TDs, and there was an interception. But if my memory serves me correct, that was a tip on a ball. That was like a knockout of someone's hands, I'm pretty sure.
Why are they throwing it 55 times, though? That's what would worry me.
No, 39.
Oh, 39 times. Still, that's
because they had no run game. Because Connor ran for 9 times for 37 yards. Josh Jobs ran twice for 20 yards. McFarlane ran 5 times for 17 yards. And Benny Snell ran 3 times for 10 yards. And Mason Rudolph is a better play action passer than that.
I really think he hasn't been given a shot. That's the crazy part. You're right. Maybe this week they do bench Trubisky and they find, okay, can Mason be the number 1? Number 2 next year. Possibility, man. Tip ball interception, they said. Yeah.
Man, his quarterback rating, apart from that one game in 2021, and he had a couple of other drives that year.
He's got a better arm too.
He's had a quarterback rating average of 80 in his career. In 2020, it was 87.7. In 2019, it was 82 with all the crap that was going on. That's better than what the Steelers quarterback ratings are right now.
What is he? 28 years old. Trubisky's 29. I'd say give him one more shot. 6 years in the league. Make him back up. I don't know why. Trubisky just seems like he's in the way. And they seem very stubborn to move on from him. That's the hard part. Some reason they have something against Rudolph, man. I don't know what it is. But they seem like they don't want to move because they paid all the money, or if it's the stubbornism stuff from the coaching staff. I don't know. It's very unique.
I think it is. They are. I think people, they're worried. I think on a level, I don't think it's the main reason. I think at some level they're worried that what if he was the guy? How dumb are they all going to look? But number two, I think it's more because of like what happened in his rookie year was so crazy in what happened that maybe they're worried he does see ghosts, that he does see demons, that all these different
can't be worse than Trubisky though.
I know, but that's how crazy it is of where we're at this point in time.
It can't be worse. I've looked at his ratings 80.9 on ESPN in the career.
Yeah,
16 sacks.
But ESPN's quarterback rating is different to every other one's quarterback rating as well. But his other one's 81, so it's still good.
61% throw. I don't know. Look, Trubisky just doesn't look like a Steeler. At least Rudolph was kind of fun to cheer in that year,
Mate, we talked about the Steelers jerseys and the discounts and stuff. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer jerseys. Like, let's do it, man. Like, let's get on the train. Christmas Eve, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for you and I. Like,
if he went out there and had a game, this fan base is so, flippy-floppy, they would get on him right away. Look at that. If he had a good game and scored 2 TDs and we won the game 17-10.
You think the home game against the Bengals, you could have everyone wearing red noses. You know how we have the duck callers, the whole crowd with the red noses. It'll be great, man.
That's a funny thing. If he was actually a good football player,
imagine if it was singing too. Like we see the Terrible Town stuff. Imagine if it was like the European rugby or soccer games, and everyone, the whole stadium, instead of like Sweet Caroline or whatever, they're singing like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
You know what? I just had a comment on Steel.
You could even have the pregame. You could have him like coming in on a big black and gold Santa sleigh. Like, how cool would it be? Like, I'm just saying. I know this is nuts, but this is therapy session.
But the thing, the market-wise would be also. I had a comment from John Roberts. He says here they never let Paul Rudolph play in any Steeler games. Is that part of the song?
Yeah, I saw a heap of that in Chris Carter's stuff. And then someone said like, then one foggy Steelers lost. Tomlin came to say, Rudolph, with your stronger arm, why don't you throw the ball tonight? And I can't sing for crap.
He's got a better arm than I think he's got a better arm than Trubisky. Trubisky's so hard to watch. I don't even care. He's so hard to watch. It's just ridiculous. I'm not confident in this Colts game, man. I'm really not. And we know that Tomlin's going to go with him. So,
especially Minshew mania.
Yeah.
I just.
Gene's going major league. What? He's playing baseball.
Oof. Nice.
Good luck, Gene.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Hey, man.
Ben don't want Mason to break any records like TV. Yeah, maybe that's it.
There's something we don't know about this situation with Rudolph, though, that we probably never know because it's odd. Trubisky's not the guy. We know that.
And you know what else? I always say, if Mason was if there's some people like, oh, he's difficult, he's a moaner, he's a complainer. He doesn't do any of that anymore. And if he was, why would Pouncey have gone in? Like, people talk about he made a racial comment against Garrett. No, he didn't. No. Pouncey would never have whacked the other guy, like the Browns, like he did. No, he didn't.
They wouldn't have stuck up for him if it was true.
Ogunjobi wouldn't have come to this team. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like,
Rudolph wouldn't have a job. If it was true, Rudolph wouldn't have a job.
Correct. Not with a black head coach. Come on, man. Like, not happening.
No way.
But there's something weird here. I agree with you.
Definitely something weird.
You know, like the curious case. Like Mason Rudolph, when his career one day finishes, I would love to read the book of all of that, just to hear like his perspective.
Well, other teams didn't go him as well, right? There's other teams didn't pick up him as well, so there's something else there too. But I'd say he can run offense. Well, they reckon. Well, he got picked up by. Well, actually, you know what? I don't reckon because I just go off reports and say, well, other teams didn't pick him up. I just read what they say.
I did hear. If you do remember, like he off the field did some interesting stuff. Like he was dating one of the bachelorettes, or I think
at one time he was dating a tennis player.
Yeah, he dated
Bashad.
Jeannie Bashard.
Yeah, she's fantastic looking.
So maybe people thought he was a bit of a problem off the field.
Lucky problem he's got. Well, he had.
I tell you, I had an entire box of Triscuit sandwiches on her.
What's a Triscuit? What's that? It's like a biscuit.
I assume so.
Oh, that's awesome. Didn't work. I tried wearing my cool shirt yesterday to just be positive. Chill. It didn't work. I don't know, man. This is a very interesting case for the Steelers, man. They got Trubisky there, and it's so hard to cheer for him. They got Rudolph. We don't know this year because he hasn't played.
You know what else I'm disappointed? I really wanted to see Kenny indoor stadium, because I've said all year Kenny indoor. I've said since we had him, Kenny indoor would do well. Kenny did pretty good again in that Raiders game. I don't think he's played indoor since. I really wanted to see him indoor at the Colts. That's the thing that's upsetting me.
Would have been good to see Kenny not get hurt too much this year as well. I think it's been tough to see him get hurt, and now he just can't see his level of play.
But he's always going to get hurt behind that O-line. That's why I did a video earlier in the week about and don't. Yeah, that's what I thought it was actually. Yeah. It's a weak crap.
Okay. He did run into the end zone though. But like I said, if he gets over the end zone, where he's a hero because he missed it, got injured, out, not a hero.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, and Kenny Pickett, I think the fan base was really excited, and then they started to see, well, we need to give these guys time and chances to succeed. He come into the third year, could go out and be lights out, and also at the same time, guys like Josh Allen are still struggling too. So it's not just like all falls on Kenny Pickett. No, the quarterback play has been pretty bad over this year. There's no huge standouts besides maybe Mahomes or Hurts, and even Hurts throws interceptions too.
Totally. Have you heard of Ernington Tree?
Urina. Yeah, he's a big YouTuber dude. He's a Steelers fan. He's a like Yinza.
I don't know because there's another another guy that does all different sports betting lines and video game stuff. And then he even did a video about the Steelers in the last 24 hours. I'm seeing all these different things on YouTube.
Well, it's because we're the hot topic. That's why.
Hot topic, It's, yeah. Well, Marky D, it's been a solid therapy session. Steeler live chats loved it. What's your parting message for Steeler fans as they go into their weekend and a 10-day break to think about this?
Don't worry about it so much, to be honest. We can't control it. I know we're all Steelers fans, but don't worry about it so much. Just get behind the team and support them. I know it sucks, but we've had some really good success in the last 20 years. And I know I have watching the team, and I love the team. Even in our failure, I still support them and cheer them on. But don't worry too much. like in these podcasts, you get a bit angry, but after that, go and make a sandwich, go have a beer, go to the pub. I don't know, go and touch grass or whatever. It's not that bad. It's only bad when we keep harping on about it. And of course, when you watch the game, I turn into a completely different guy, and I'm really angry. But then today I feel fine because I'm in about 2 hours time. I'm going out for lunch with my mates for Christmas lunch, a beer, and in like podcast talk or Steelers talk. Yeah, man, it's fucking awful. But after that, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like they could be where the Pirates have been, right? They're still positive record. They could be where the Penguins are. I'll say that as a Philly Flyers fan. Like, man, like what's happening there, man? Like, it would tell you that the Steelers have lost their mojo as an entire franchise, and maybe people feel like that right now if the Steelers didn't change things in the offseason. And so I'm really excited to bring you guys that chat over the next couple of days that Shannon and I had on where can the franchise go to from here, because even if they'd won last night's game, like there's a lot of things that still need ironing out. Like they've got to work out how they can improve. It's not about as I said, it's not about stats. It's not about the record. It is how are we improving as an entire team and throughout the three phases of football that will allow us to get back into the big dance, because there's a journey that we've got to go on. Let's try and make that as short a journey as possible.
And let's be honest, we're going to be here regardless. We're Steelers.
That's the point. That's the whole thing. We're going to be here regardless. We're all going to tune in. I'll take that day off again. So will Steeler Girl 808. Like that's will be what it will be. We'll be commenting in a year's time about how it's going.
Football, man. It's part of our life. With that attached to it, it's part of our life now. It just is. It's part of our lives being podcasted. But for the viewers out there who have other stuff going on, it's part of your life being a Steelers fan. It's just what it is. We love our team. We love black and gold, and see what happens. 30 pack.
That's it. Jeff also telling me there's a chance.
He's telling me there's a chance. There's still not over yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's not over till the fat lady sings, right? So
we're one game out of the playoffs now, and the Browns are still in it, and they got to start losing too for a chance.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I
don't care if we lose. Playoff football's fun to watch if we're in it.
Who knows? 2 in the playoffs, right? Like, I do worry as well though. Like, if you lose to the Colts, like I don't want Minka to stuff his hand up for life. Like I'm a bit worried about you
lose to the Colts because they're also in number 7 too, so that makes it harder.
That's my point.
You really can't lose this.
Like, you kind of almost need to beat the Colts, because if the Bengals get 2 losses, you could probably afford to lose the Bengals game as long as you beat the Ravens. Like,
or you could lose it. You lose the Seahawks game and win the other 3 AFC ones.
Yeah, but that's going to be harder. I think the Seahawks game is going to be a very hard win.
There are.
You got to want it. That's the thing, and I think you've hit the nail on the head, Sean. I think that's what probably frustrates Steelers fans the most. It feels like they don't want it as much as we do.
Yeah. What's the next week? It's Minshew versus Trubisky. Is it?
Yeah. Money Mitch versus Minshew Mania.
Minshew, that's crazy. What a match. And that's also on our Sunday.
It is, which is good. We get to watch the next. I get to watch the next.
We've been very lucky with Game Pass, by the way. We've only missed 2 games.
I know. But the tab does it. We can watch it through the tab.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. All right, guys. Well, have a lovely Steelers weekend. Thank you for tuning in to us on your Friday night. For those of you in the live, for those of you that catch us on replay, hope this helps you get over the loss. We tried to stay positive. There are a lot of Steelers videos out there and channels, and even Pittsburgh Post Get Outs and Locked On and Deke and all that. That'll sit there down in the doldrums. We just wanted to give you a bit of something different, bit of a laugh about it as well. Take it with a bit of a grain of. But I think that's it. Take everything with a grain of salt. Right? It helps everything. Helps in your food, helps in your alcohol, helps in your in how you deal with the Steelers loss. So as always,
go Steelers. Here we go.